All right, so in terms of workflow, highly recommend using templates. So this will help keep your figures consistent from one figure to the next. So, when preparing, as Nick said earlier, when you're preparing your figures before you submit in, always worth checking out the instructions for from the the journal. So Nick's already been through that. So when you create a template, so if you're going to submit your figure to Nature or to wherever, if you create a template for that means you'll be able to essentially have all your figures formatted and organized consistently with a lot less work. So to start off with, when you create a new file, you're going to start off by setting your color mode and your resolution consistent with what the journal has chosen. And most journals, I think, will ask you to size your images in millimeters, but if they obviously, if it's if they're asking you for image size in inches or something like that, you can select that here. So we select that in our image preset details and create the image, create the new artboard. Once you're in the artboard, then you want to create a new library. So I would generally recommend creating a library for that specific publication. And so add to your library, create your character styles. So, figure labels, axis labels, scale bar, whatever character styles you think you're going to need. And of course, set those based on the specifications of, the journal that you're submitting to. Create any color themes or add any color themes that you want to use. So add those to your library. And then for your first file, something that's useful, I think is useful to do is create a couple of shapes on that file that are consistent with basically the image size that you're going to be creating in, for the paper. So in this case, Nature template says that a single column figure should have a max width of 89 millimeters. So we create a first shape. If we look at either the properties or the transform, we can set the size of that shape to be exactly 89 millimeters. We can create similar structures for 2 column figures or 1.5 column figures. We can add some instructions down the bottom on fonts. If you've already created character styles, maybe you don't need this, but sometimes it's useful to have a reminder of specific instructions on how the journal wants things laid out, or which particular fonts should be used for which particular figure elements. Once you've done all that, if you put all of these into one layer and then lock that layer. So, when you're duplicating this artboard or duplicating this template, you're not going to be making changes or deleting those elements. Add any swatches or brushes that you're going to use, that you might use throughout your figures. When you've got all that done, save it as a template. So save the file as a template, and then when you open new files, you can open them from that template. And when you open them from that template, your resolution, color scale, character styles, color themes, all of that's going to be there ready to go. You'll have this in layer 1, which you can use to create your figure styles. As you add your elements, you can hide that layer, or at the end, delete that layer before finally saving your file. So having something like this is going to make it a lot easier to make sure you have a consistent organization from one for the multiple figures in your paper.